If it's Monday night, well, yes, it is the Wrestling Forum. Hello, friends. It's Ridiculously Over Anthony Flair here for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. We're delighted to have you with us as always. Great to have you here too. And I got Michael Fletcher here, the Cerebral Viper. Michael Bullock will be joining us in a few minutes. I don't know where he is. He's probably out running around somewhere. But of course, before we start tonight, we want to acknowledge, this past month, we had so many close to home deaths, and nobody's dead or anything. We're not reporting a death, but we had a lot of close to home deaths last month, and of course we have another close to home situation here, very close to home for me, as one of my all time favorite wrestlers, Bret the Hitman Hart, announced today that he is battling prostate cancer. Michael Bullock informed me of this news this afternoon when he drove me in my office, and very sad indeed. And he told me he had sad news, and I'm like, don't tell me he died. I was this close to going off the deep end, but I'm glad he's okay. And on behalf of all of us here at the Wrestling Forum, we want to, share our best. We want to give our best to Bret Hart, and we hope that he gets through this, like he's always done. Hopefully he'll put that cancer in the sharpshooter and he'll make it tap out like he did so many other guys throughout his illustrious Hall of Fame career. So Bret, this show's for you tonight. So we're dedicating this show to Bret Hart here tonight. So the excellence of execution, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever damn will be. That's just how I feel about it. So so this one's for you, man. So all right, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in to what we have here on the show tonight. Monday Night Raw, as we continue on the road to Fastlane. We were live tonight from the Legacy Arena, formerly the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center in Birmingham, Alabama. And we started it off with an in-ring segment, and believe it or not, it was not the Authority. It was Brock Lesnar and his advocate, Paul Heyman. And it was then interrupted by Dean Ambrose. Well, I got to be honest here. I mean, two in-ring segments. They were both fantastic. Honestly, I can't put one over the other. So I'd have to say, I'm torn. And because of that, I have to say this was co-segment of the night. Because this was fantastic. Paul Heyman, we all know about Paul Heyman. He is, if not the best, one of the best, if not the best talker in the WWE right now. And he was phenomenal again. And then you bring out Dean Ambrose getting in the face of Brock Lesnar. The one time you would like to see an opening promo segment go long, we get a shorty. But the thing is, the good thing about this is it left us, the viewing audience, wanting more. And Ambrose, looked like he had he grew a set. Looked like he was getting, ballsy, if you will, going face to face with Lesnar. And we also, and I like the message that he sent as well. If they're not careful, he might even be cheered over Reigns at Fastlane. Oh wait, both Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar. Let's not kid ourselves. They're gonna get more cheers than Roman Reigns at Fastlane, which may explain why we didn't see all three men together in this segment. But don't worry, it'll happen. So because there was another in-ring segment that I thought was just as good as this. I could even make the argument that this was the segment of the night by a smidge. But nonetheless, this was a fantastic segment. Heyman was great. Ambrose was great. Lesnar, doing his usual shtick, not saying anything, with the facial expressions and all that. So, just a fantastic segment, and it definitely raised the excitement level for that main event at Fastlane, even though the outcome is a foregone conclusion. We already know who's going to win it. So, I'm not even going to, mention who's going to win that. I'll save that for our preview show in a few weeks. So that's it for me. So, fantastic segment. That's a great way to start the show. I kind of would have liked to have seen a little more, to be honest. But hey, that's exactly what WWE needs to do. Give us the viewing audience, leave us wanting more, and that's exactly what they did. Mission accomplished. So well done. So at the worst co-segment of the night, at best segment of the night by a smidge. There was another, like I said, the other in-ring segment was also very good. So there's really nothing left for me to say except Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher. This one's all you. This one's all yours now. Your thoughts on this very good opening segment with Heyman and Lesnar and Ambrose.
Yeah, this was really good. There's really nothing to say. I mean, this was a great way to start Monday Night Raw. What's up, everybody? There's really nothing more to say about it. It was actually really good. To say the very least, I don't know what else you can say about it. It was just an epic way to start Monday Night Raw. It was one of those where you sensed it, you felt it, you knew. It was going to be a good night, to say the very least. Once it started, or once everything came out, it was really interesting. I was really more shocked about how on earth this was going to go down. And, WWE came out. It was basically virtually. It was interesting to see. It was very interesting to watch how everything started off, and then all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman cuts a great promo. Then it was basically, it was just a formality, and of all people to show up, Dean Ambrose. Whoa. Dean Ambrose gets very ballsy, comes on out. Next thing you know, he really, steps it up, to say the very least, and it becomes an even more epic scene, to say the very least. So I don't know it was definitely a great thing to see. It was a great way to start a great way to start Monday Night Raw. And with that said, let's just move on to the next segment.
All right, very well. And we started it off with our first match of the night. It was the United States Heavyweight Champion Kalisto going up against League of Nations member Rusev. And yes, if you were wondering, the ravishing Russian Lana was indeed in Rusev's corner. Winner of the match via a countout in 10 minutes and 40 seconds, the United States Heavyweight Champion Kalisto, and it was announced that Kalisto and Alberto Del Rio will meet again for the United States Heavyweight Championship at Fastlane in Cleveland in 3 weeks. So, Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on this one?
Great match. Solid fight. I didn't really like the fact that the fight ended in a count-out finish. I think that's the only way that was a little bit disappointing, but I thought overall it got plenty of time, over 10 minutes, which is really good. I thought it was like I said, it was a solid fight. I could give this about maybe 2.5 stars is my rating. I could have given it a little more higher if it wasn't for the count out finish. I think it could have been a lot more better, but there's really nothing more to say about this. I thought, like I said, it was a solid fight. I enjoyed it. I love the interaction, and plus with Del Rio at ringside made it really good, to say the very least. And it was solid for what it was worth. So other than that, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, I think you underscored it a little bit. With all due respect, there, Fletch. I actually thought this was a very good match, and it's one of the top fights of the night for sure. It's in the top 3, no question about it. I actually would have to say maybe third best fight of the night, maybe. I'm actually going to give it a solid 3 stars. That's the best I can do, because I thought this was a very good match. It was a fun match. It was a fun non-title match, and yeah, we usually crap all over these kind of clunky finishes and whatnot. But I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it's rare to see a count out finish feel satisfying, and it was logical, and it worked because of Kalisto's underdog status, and that's really all there is. And I mean, this is one time where I'm actually okay with a count out finish. I mean, usually when we see finishes like that, we're like, oh, count out finish, yeah, whatever, blah blah blah. No, I'm actually okay with it. And the match, was also very good too. That was a pleasant surprise. And I'll even go as far as to say sleeper fight of the night. I really wasn't expecting much out of this, but hey, give them credit. That was a fun match. So solid 3 stars. I mean, that's the best I can go. So 10 minutes and 40 seconds worth of action. Good job. Then there was a great backstage segment, Stephanie McMahon with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. That was absolutely fantastic. Normally I don't get into backstage segments, but that was a very good one. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Tag team match here. Up next, we had the Usos going up against two members of the Social Outcast. It was actually Curtis Axel and Adam Rose. Heath Slater was in their corner. There was no Bo Dallas or whatever. And the Usos won the match in 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Now, this is something that, really took off here once this went down. The beautiful Lillian Garcia, maybe the most beautiful ring announcer in the history of ring announcers. And I love her. I love the woman to death. And she looked amazing as usual. If you notice during the intro, she introduced the Usos as a Grammy Award-winning tag team. Yeah, you heard me right. She said Grammy Award-winning. She obviously meant to say Slammy Award-winning because, the Usos did win the Slammy Award. Still think they should not have, but, it is what it is. But Grammy Award-winning. Wow, okay. It's obvious, she got caught up in the moment. It's a live crowd. The crowd was jacked. I mean, how Southern crowds can get. So she obviously got caught up in the moment. I mean, we all have our mistakes. We all know that. So her cute mistake was completely run into the ground by the broadcast team throughout the match, especially one John Bradshaw Layfield, who I love as a heel commentator. Just fantastic. So with that aside, as far as the match is concerned, I can only give it a good 2 to 2.25 stars at the absolute best. It felt straight out of Superstars. It's something you would see on like WWE Superstars or Main Event. Even though all four men worked hard, I'll give them credit for that. And the Social Outcast gimmick, well, they make these guys feel like they are lower on the totem pole than they were as singles wrestlers. And it's obvious that creative has nothing left in store for these guys, and that's really all there is to it. And that's why they do these. That's why they randomly put this group together out of nowhere. And it's really they're really one of those groups that makes you want to say go away. And I'm still not sold. I mean, normally I do give these things a chance, but to be quite honest, they're already on that done enhancement train. So yeah, but I'll give them credit though. They gave the Usos a good fight. I'll give them that. But to me, 5 minutes and 10 seconds, like I said, this is something you would see a la Superstars or even Main Event for that matter. So it's at least 2, maybe 2.25 at the absolute best. So that's really all I can say about it. So Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on this tag match, and feel free if you want to comment on Lillian's little botcheroo there.
You know what? Lillian Garcia has been known to do botches. I mean, a lot of people have slammed her a number of times. Actually, she even made one of the biggest botchamanias at the grandest stage of them all. She messed it up Triple H's intro, introducing Triple H at WrestleMania. So, I mean, yeah, she's had her moments where she's made mistakes, everything else. And like you said, sometimes when you're live with a crowd, in that type of city, it does happen. I'm not going to say it was bad or anything else. She was supposed to say Slammy Award winning. She said Grammy Award winning. I mean, it's like apples to oranges on that one. But a mistake is a mistake. And yes, WWE is gonna, she probably got admonished by, Vince and the boys in the back, and maybe they'll make a run through it, make her, say that, oh, it was Lillian, she made a mistake and this and that. And, they're gonna make some kind of thing about it. But, it did happen. There's really nothing more to say about it. But I mean, it was a good thing. It was not bad at all. I really think it was the fight itself was about 2.5 stars. I agree with that. But, there's really nothing more to say about Lillian's mistake. Let's talk about the fight now. Solid fight. Nothing that would really make me want to jump up and down and go absolutely bonkers or anything like that. Like I said, it was a solid fight. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match. And that's really all I can say about it. So with that said, Anthony, let's just move on to the next part.
All right. Let me find it here. All right. Remember I said there was another in-ring segment that I said was really good, that it was so tough to compare to the opening? Well, here it is. It was Miz TV. And you're thinking, Miz TV, really? Oh, yes. There's a reason. Miz's guest, the phenomenal AJ Styles, was the guest. And, well, I don't know what else there is to say except, Michael Fletcher, you get to lead off on this. Your thoughts on Miz TV with the phenomenal AJ Styles. Throw it up, Bullet Club.
Well, let me just say it like this. If you're an AJ Styles fan, you want to hear from AJ Styles. We didn't get to hear from AJ Styles tonight because The Miz tried to hog the freaking spotlight, for God's sakes. The next thing you know, AJ just got enough, had enough, got pissed off, and took his aggressions out on The Miz like everybody else wants to do. And, but the beatdown that he did was really good. I mean, I can't say nothing bad about the beatdown. I thought it was an epic moment. And the thing is that, I loved how The Miz was talking about AJ. And, if you didn't know AJ Styles until tonight, I loved how he talked about how he was an underdog, how, he was a little pint-sized guy that nobody really believed in, that people pretty much threw to the side, said there's no way you're going to be this or that, or you were going to be an epic name or a great wrestler or this or anything. And think about what he has done in professional wrestling, guys. He's been a multi-time Ring of Honor. He was in Ring of Honor for a little bit. He had a tryout fight with the WWF when he fought against Gregory Helms. At the time, he was a Hurricane. If you want to see that fight, it was an old metal fight, believe it or not, when they had metal on the USA Network, and that was a good match, a solid fight back in the day. And then you had AJ Styles become one of the originals of TNA, NWA TNA, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, and became the first X Division champion in the history of the company, and then from there become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and it basically became, how his elevation and evolution continued, and then him going to Japan, becoming, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion of the world, not once but twice, and becoming the leader of the Bullet Club of that team and the group. And the Miz was like hogging the spotlight because he wanted it to show, yes, you're great. Yes, you're phenomenal. Yes, you're this. Yes, you're that. But you haven't proven anything in this company yet. You haven't proven that you're worthy enough in WWE. And AJ just had enough and just went off. And I just felt like I understand they're trying to shield AJ a little bit. I don't think it's a big deal. I think they're just trying to figure out what to do with AJ Styles right now because it's kind of brand new. AJ just started. So how do you make AJ Styles the greatest thing out there? By putting him in some good storylines, putting him in some rivalries, and just trying to build him up. And the thing is the credibility is so huge, and AJ is so big right now. I mean, you saw the reaction that he got when he made his debut at the Royal Rumble. He was so over, and to me, he is without a doubt the most over guy right now. I mean, his T-shirt literally sold out on WWE.com. I mean, you want to talk about awesomeness? AJ Styles is without a doubt the best thing right now in professional wrestling, and I cannot wait to see what happens. Now, how do you work a guy like AJ Styles when you got all these talent, all these people? How do you try to work them? Now, I think what's going to happen is we got this rumor coming around that, we'll wait and see what happens left, and we're going to have to see how this plays out. But I will say this, gentlemen, I think what what WWE is doing is actually not bad, and I understand why they're trying to push it. I just hope that they give us an opportunity or let us see something even better shine through, because I thought this Miz TV segment was actually really good. I did not mind Miz hogging the spotlight and trying to, whatever the case may be on AJ Styles. I know they're trying to protect him, but I don't think he needs that much protecting. I think AJ is without a doubt amazing, awesome, the best thing in professional wrestling today. It's just give him a chance. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, with that said, Florio, it is all yours.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll hear from AJ Styles. Eventually, I think. Say what you want about the Miz, but I thought he was fantastic in this segment. And say what you will about the lack of mic work they're giving Styles, but Miz told a warped version of the Styles story in a way that made the fans like Styles while also putting heat on himself. Hopefully, the Southern jabs are not a regular part of the Styles jabs, but it worked here considering they're in Birmingham, Alabama. And well, now that I think about it, I would have to say this was the second best segment of the night, and the opening segment with Heyman and Ambrose and Lesnar was the segment of the night by the smidge there. I mean, if we had heard from AJ Styles, then that would have worked out great, but unfortunately we didn't. But eventually we will, and we know how great of a talker he is. I mean, he was a great talker in TNA. Whether he was as that singles wrestler or as part of the greatest stable in that company's history, the Fortune 4. And then, of course, his work in New Japan and Ring of Honor, as part of the Bullet Club. So, yeah, don't worry. We'll hear from him soon enough. But for right now, say what you want about Miz, but he was fantastic here. So that's all there is to say about it here. So it's the second best segment of the night for me. So I'm just going to move on to our next match. And it's the first of two Divas matches. And believe it or not, you really can't say this was a total Divas showcase, because we had the Divas champion in action. We had Charlotte Flair going up against, of course, Charlotte Flair, of course, as always, accompanied by her father, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, going up against Brie Bella, and in her corner was Alicia Fox, and the winner of the match in 4 minutes and 35 seconds, it was Brie Bella. So, yeah, about 1.5 to 2 stars here. That's the best rating I can give this, because this was a solid match. And now we already know Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks are in the title picture. So you would have to imagine that Brie would probably end up being in contention for a title shot down the road. And I think I can understand they put Brie over because of the fact that Nikki Bella just underwent neck surgery, and they went for the feel-good moment here, and that's exactly what they did. So that's just how I feel. And it was a non-title match, so the title wasn't on the line. So Charlotte doesn't lose anything whatsoever. But Brie now gets this. So now we got a decision here. When does Brie? I mean, obviously you obviously now have to put Brie in the picture now, even though you already got Becky Lynch. You still got Becky Lynch in there, and of course Sasha throwing her hat into the ring at the Royal Rumble after that moment there. So yeah, we just don't know how this is going to go. I mean, I still think it's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be Charlotte versus Sasha versus Becky in a triple threat at WrestleMania. That's what I want to see personally, and I'm sure Fletcher wants to see that too. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But for right now, it's a 1.5 to 2 stars. And I got to say, of the two Diva fights, I thought this one was maybe a smidge better than the other ones. So that's really all I have to say about it. 4.5 minutes. So nice win for Brie Bella. So obviously she's now in the title picture, right? You would have to imagine. So maybe on a SmackDown, or who knows? Maybe they just may have Charlotte defend against Brie Bella one-on-one at Fastlane. You never know. But we'll have to figure it out. So with all that said, Michael Fletcher, sort out all this Diva craziness, if you would.
Well, it's not really Diva craziness that needs to be sorted out. It's just that this was a good fight, a decent match. I could give this about 2 stars. But one thing that if you even noticed that you haven't talked about was Ric Flair I think Ric Flair got up on the apron again, and this time he
Yeah.
cost the fight for Charlotte Flair. And you saw the look on her face saying, like, what are you doing? Why? There was no need. I had this fight won. I think in my mind, and I'm going to be real honest with you, Anthony, I think there's going to be a point where I think Ric Flair might cost Charlotte the belt, and she's going to say, Dad, I don't want you in my corner anymore. I mean, it's going to come to that point. I don't know when. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I mean, it's going to come to that point where Charlotte's going to have to be on her own. And that is one thing that I think we all can definitely say. At the end of the day, this was definitely a great match. A big win for Brie Bella, but remember, like you said, Nikki is nursing just went through surgery for the injured neck, and she is basically out of commission for a while, and Lord knows how this was gonna affect the Bella brand because of the fact that who knows, Nikki might never wrestle ever again. We don't know. We don't know the full extent of it. So I mean, we'll find out soon enough. But for Brie, yes, it's a feel-good story. It's a feel-good win because they need to give her that push. And I could see her maybe get a shot at the belt next week on Monday Night Raw. Just so that they could make the main storyline about Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte leading into WrestleMania. I think that's more plausible, more legible. Or maybe let Sasha, or probably let Brie fight Charlotte at Fastlane. Obviously, Charlotte will retain, and then Charlotte moves onward to WrestleMania as the champion. So I could see that happening. I mean, there's a couple of scenarios how this could play out because of what happened also tonight. We'll get into that momentarily because I think there's a scenario that actually might open the door for two possible things to happen, and then an extension possibly at WrestleMania. So we'll get into all of it in a little bit. But with that said, Florio, it's yours.
All right. Unfortunately, there is some we have to get into some dead weight here on the show, and here's the dead weight. We had our next match, which was the Big Show going up against Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan, of course, had Luke Harper and Braun Strowman in his corner. Winner of the match in 1 minute and 20 seconds, it was the Big Show. So, Fletch, obviously, we have our first bout of dead weight here on this show. So, your thoughts on this first bit of dead weight here?
Yeah, this was definitely dead weight. This was kind of more of a cool down fight, even though I don't think it really needed to be cooled down at all. The match was, like you said, it was horrible. It didn't really catch anything for me. It kind of was more of a whatever, maybe whatever it is. But I'm telling you right now, I didn't like it at all. This was, to me, an absolute dud, a complete waste of time. I could easily call this not only one of the worst fights of the night, but I'll even go as far as to say it is the worst fight of the evening. Absolute dud. No, nothing more to say. Florio, go.
Yeah, absolute dud. This was the worst fight of the night, no question about it. 1 minute and 20 seconds. I mean, if you blinked, you missed it. That's really what it was. And yeah, so that's and you're probably saying, what happened to Bray? Now we have a mystery. Now we solved the mystery as to what happened to not just Bo Dallas but also Bray Wyatt. They actually left Raw. They both reportedly left Raw today to be with their grandfather, the legendary Blackjack Mulligan, who was hospitalized in the state of Florida. So, yeah. So if you don't know, Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas are actually brothers, both the sons of IRS Mike Rotunda. If you didn't know that by now, They left the show to be with their grandfather, so that's why you didn't see them on the show tonight. So just found that out. So so we wish them the best, obviously. So yeah. So that was pretty much it. I'm not going to waste any more time on that. So yeah, but I'll tell you what, the ending of the last SmackDown was one of the best endings to a SmackDown I've seen in a long time. You know, a crazy, chaotic ending, you know, with all that with Roman and Ambrose and showing Jericho and the Wyatts. That was good stuff, really was good stuff. And especially the commentary with Mauro Ranallo there. I mean, that was just fantastic. So I just wanted to get that's just another little bit of something I wanted to get off my chest. So, all right, move on. Next match. We had Titus O'Neil going up against Tyler Breeze. Titus O'Neil wins it with the Clash of the Titus, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Another absolute dud, second worst fight of the night. And I'm going to be honest with you. I just found this out via a dirt sheet. You may be wondering what's going on with Tyler Breeze. Well, Vince McMahon has given up on him. That's all there is to it. Vinnie Mac has already given up on him. It was a report going around that Tyler Breeze left. I don't know if it was a Raw taping or a SmackDown taping. Tyler Breeze left it before it ended, and WWE officials consider that disrespectful. And well, the last thing you want to do is you don't want to piss off the officials, because they'll bury your ass in a heartbeat, and that's exactly what they're doing here. So if you're wondering why Tyler Breeze is getting buried all of a sudden, and you wonder why they split him, they split him and Summer Rae up and all that good stuff. He left the taping before he was supposed to, and reportedly, and the officials were like, yeah, that's disrespectful on your end. So we got no choice. We're just going to bury his ass. And that's exactly what they're doing. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. So, all right. So with all that said, absolute dud, second worst fight of the night. So it is a damn shame too, because Breeze was one of the mainstays of NXT, and they had big plans for him, but apparently he might have just blown them himself. So what a shame. So that's all there is to say. Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on this Titus O'Neil, Tyler Breeze match, 2 minutes and 40 seconds worth?
Practically not even worth my time. It's another dud. Definitely another one of the worst fights of the night. There's really nothing more to say, but I knew about the report that Anthony, you were alluding to. It is definitely a darn shame as well, but you know, at the end of the day, you make your bed, now you gotta lie in it. It is definitely nothing more to say about it. It was an embarrassing situation, pretty much. So, you know, it is what it is. Nothing more to say. So, Anthony, let's just move on.
All right. Just need to see where we are right here. All right. Now, as far as this is concerned, now we get back into the good stuff here. It was a return match from last week. We had Kevin Owens going one-on-one with Dolph Ziggler. And the winner of the match in 10 minutes and 20 seconds, it was Dolph Ziggler via the zigzags. So, Michael Fletcher, Dolph Ziggler, and Kevin Owens, 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Your thoughts on this latest match with these two great studs?
This was another great match, another solid fight. I'm going to give this about three stars is my rating. Is my rating for the fight. I could even go maybe even 3.25. This was an excellent fight. I loved how the psychology and everything else. And this time, Ziggler gets the win here. So, you know, now it's 1-1 between the two men. Maybe we get ourselves an opportunity to see a rubber fight down the line. That definitely would be something that I would like to see. I mean, this is a good rivalry match. And I loved how this thing came out. And at the end of the fight, yes, Kevin Owens did throw a little bit of a hissy fit, you know, started breaking stuff around the announce table and everything else. And, you know, he just has that angry, you know, I'm so mad, I'm not going to take it anymore type attitude. But, you know, it is what it is. But I thought this was a solid fight, 3 to 3.25, maybe flirting with 3.5, but it's more 3.25 for me. So, Florio, it's all yours.
3.25. 3.25, second best fight of the night, honestly. Another great match with these two great talents. And Yeah, a rubber match is most definitely in order. I don't know if it'll be on the TV or if they'll maybe add it to Fastlane, which would be a great addition to Fastlane. Try to make this show actually worth watching because because it's a B show, and this is one of those B shows where it's really meh. And Derek Ferrera, called it slow lane on his end, but they didn't really sell it as an upset. I'm kind of glad they did. They talked about how Ziggler pulled out the win after taking so much punishment, and also talked about how important the matches are right now at WrestleMania coming up, and last week's match is playing such a part in determining the main event. Usual good match from these two. You have to assume Owens will get the win back, maybe on Thursday or next week or even Fastlane, because right now they need strong heels right now, and there's no more over full-time heel on the roster right now than one Kevin Owens. So that's just how I see it. So that's pretty much it right there. So 10 minutes and 20 seconds worth. It's the second best fight of the night by a smidge over the Kalisto Rusev fight. So that's really all there is to do. Really is all there is to say. So we're just going to move on to our next match, and it was the second of our two Divas matches. It was Becky Lynch going up against Sasha Banks, and fight ends in a no contest, or rather 3 minutes and 35 seconds worth. What happened was, I guess apparently Team Bad is no longer, because Sasha said she didn't need him, tried to go back to the match, but Naomi and Tamina prevented her from returning. DQ, and then Becky Lynch comes out and helps Sasha, and they end up back in the ring, and there's even an audible NXT chance. So decent angle with Lynch looking admirable from coming to the aid of an opponent who recently attacked her, and with Team Bad now kaput here. Let's hope this is the last time we have to hear the awful Unity line, which made them like the female version of the New Day, and the bulk of the mic work, kind of really felt forced and unnatural, but it was a solid 1.5 stars. That's the best I can do because we had the clunky finish there. But the only good thing about it is slowly but surely these factions are finally dying down here. The only one that really seems still united is Team Bella, because you still got Brie Bella and Alicia Fox together, even though Nikki Bella is out indefinitely with the neck surgery. We already know PCB already disintegrated, and it looks like tonight Team Bad has finally disintegrated. And I'm looking at a future tag team match: Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch possibly going up against Naomi and Tamina, which should be an interesting tag match when and if that happens on a TV, or maybe they could put it on Fastlane. Maybe that's the kickoff fight for Fastlane. I don't know. We'll see. So solid 1.5 stars. That's the best I could give it. I wanted to give it 2, but I really can't, because this is where we have to crap on the DQ finish, even though we got a storyline advancement. So 1.5 stars by a smidge, not the better of the two Diva fights. So with that said, Fletch, your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, 1.5 to 2 is the correct rating for this fight. But what made this match even more epic is that, yes, Team Bad is no more. Team Bad has been is now imploded, and thank God for that, because now finally Sasha Banks can be on her own and be that awesomeness that she is. But I like the fact that they let Becky Lynch in on it, because this might start planting the seeds of maybe the Four Horsewomen uniting. I think it's gonna come to a point where maybe we might get the Four Horsewomen, a unite of the Four Horsewomen. But of course, with the fact that Charlotte being such a heel right now, it'll never work. But at least you got Becky and you got Sasha together, united. It looks like they're going to be united. They could go after, the other members of Team Bad, where we could see a battle between Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks against Tamina and Naomi, and let these two just, give them a mini program, a short program, let them fight it out, maybe give them a match at Fastlane. Once that is done, then just let these guys go be and of course Becky and Sasha will probably, the brief little honeymoon will break up because their eyes are going to be on the prize of becoming the Divas champion. And like I said, I believe at WrestleMania, this is just my personal prediction, I think we're going to have a Charlotte versus Becky versus Sasha for the WWE Divas title. I think that would be an excellent match. Having these three go at it, it showcased at the biggest WrestleMania of all WrestleManias. I mean, normally we talk about WrestleMania being such a big show, but because of the fact that this particular WrestleMania is at Jerry World, it's at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, this WrestleMania is going to be even bigger than any other Mania we've ever had in our lifetime. So I mean, remember how epic WrestleMania 3 was with 93,173? That would be something that I know my father probably remembers very much, like it was yesterday. This WrestleMania is going to be a WrestleMania that I know I'll be talking about to at least my nephews and my nieces about. And you never know, if I do ever become a father, I would like to tell this story to my son, my daughter, or even to my grandchildren. Down in the very near future, this is going to be like our WrestleMania 3 coming, literally almost 30 years later. And this is going to be hopefully one of the most successful WrestleManias of all time. But like I said, jury's out to lunch, at least on that. But, that's my feeling. That's my prediction. And with that said, Anthony, it is all yours.
Yeah, great points all around. I mean, that's all there is to say about it. WrestleMania 3, one of the greatest, that was the first great WrestleMania, since the whole WrestleMania thing started. WrestleMania 1, the first two WrestleManias were solid but unspectacular. I mean, yeah, both of them had its moments, but WrestleMania 3, I mean, with all the history it made, you had WrestleMania 1 in Madison Square Garden, then you had WrestleMania 2 in 3 different locations. You had it in the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. You had it in what was then known as the Rosemont Horizon, now the Allstate Arena in Chicago. And then, of course, the LA Sports Arena in Los Angeles, which also went on to host WrestleMania 7 because they couldn't use the Coliseum because of BS security concerns. And that's just how I feel. But you put WrestleMania 3 in a venue as big as the Pontiac Silverdome, and with all the history it made, that crowd was white hot from start to finish. On commentary, you can never say anything bad about that because their commentary was top notch, and on that day it was particularly top notch. And then, of course, it featured one of the 10 greatest wrestling matches of all time: Randy Macho Man Savage, the late great Randy Macho Man Savage, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which overshadowed Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. I mean, it was all about Hulk and Andre this, Hulk and Andre that. No. Macho and Steamboat stole the show with a 5-star classic, chock full of Shakespearean drama for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. So, Fletch made some great points about WrestleMania 3, 93,173 in the Silverdome. And of course, with this upcoming WrestleMania in just over 2 months' time, emanating from Jerry World in Arlington, Cowboy Stadium, there is the chance that this could be the WrestleMania that will finally break WrestleMania 3's record. And we could also reach uncharted territory, 100,000. Think about it. So that's all there is to say about it. So great point all around, Fletch, and I certainly do. I have a massive appreciation for you bringing that up, because anytime you bring up WrestleMania 3, I definitely get nostalgic because WrestleMania 3 is one of my favorite WrestleManias of all time. You already know that story by now, so. All right. Now that I got that off my chest, let's just move on to what we've got coming up. And then there was another great backstage segment with Chris Jericho, talking about AJ Styles, and that was some good stuff there. So, all right. got a little slowness on my end here. What else is new? As I try to, well, actually, I believe it's actually time for the main event. So yeah, it was the main event, and you already know what that main event was. You know, we had tag team champions, the New Day, going up against Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. And we thought that I thought they were. There was a small part of me that thought they were going to make this, a handicap match. 3 against 2 and whatnot. But no, they didn't. And or even a tag team title fight for that matter. But it was not. The winners of the match, however, in 17 minutes and 20 seconds, it was Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. No big surprise. Roman Reigns. The finish came, Roman Reigns, a Superman punch on Kofi Kingston, and then Dean Ambrose hitting the dirty deeds on Biggie Langston. So Reigns and Ambrose win this main event in 17 minutes and 20 seconds. So my flex, I believe you lead off on this. Am I right? I think it's you, right? So if that's the case, your thoughts on the main event?
Excellent fight. Definitely, you have to make it the fight of the night because of the length of the time, the story that was written, and the whole 9 yards. But look at how they played it out. Everything looked like it was to the T, especially at the end of the show. I thought this was a tremendous main event fight. There's really nothing else to say. It just looked like it was a very interesting dilemma. The whole thing that came out was it was electrifying. I loved how this played out. Just the attitude, the action. It had it just had a goodness that came out of it more than anything else. And to me, I think it was just one of those where it felt right. It felt worthy of a Monday Night Raw main event, and that's the thing. And yeah, you had the extra element at the end of seeing Brock Lesnar come out, which was awesome. We finally got at least a little bit, not much, but a little glimpse of the triple threat at Fastlane. But it was ruined by Kofi and Big E. They both jumped into the ring. They both went after Roman and Dean, well, briefly, and then Lesnar grabs Ambrose. He hits him with an F5, and you know what's going to happen there. Now you're going to see Ambrose is going to be like, hey, I thought we were brothers. What the hell happened, man? Why didn't you have my back? Why didn't you help me? I just got F5'd by the beast, and where were you? Roman's gonna be straight up. He's like, look, man, I was dealing with Kofi. Me and him started brawling. I'm sorry I couldn't get there in time. It's my bad, man. I mean, I'm sorry. And you're gonna start seeing this division between Roman and Dean. I thought we were going to see the division back at the Survivor Series over the fact that it was for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and it didn't happen. Maybe the division starts now. Maybe we start seeing Roman starting to work his own thing, trying to split it up a little bit. And even it was very telling because look what Brock did, especially during the time when he was dealing with Triple H. Remember, Triple H tried to call him out. He was like, hey, something weird happened tonight. He's like, the most peculiar thing. You let Dean Ambrose step up to you, talk a whole bunch of garbage. You didn't even take him to Suplex City. You didn't even let him live. What the heck is that? And Brock is like, well, that's fine. You can say whatever you want to say, but at the end, I'm going to kick your ass at WrestleMania. I'll see you at WrestleMania. That got Triple H's attention, and sure enough, what happened? Brock got his revenge. He got even with Dean Ambrose. So, yeah. Ambrose talked the big game, and he talked a lot of junk. But at the end of the night, it wasn't a Suplex City visit. Dean Ambrose got F5'd right out of his boots. So we'll see what happens. it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on next week's Monday Night Raw. But I will tell you this: this was one heck of a way to close the show. I thought this was a very good way to close Monday Night Raw tonight. So, with that said, Anthony Florio, I give it to you, my friend.
Star rating, Fletch, if you did it.
I'm gonna give this the fight of the night status 3.5 stars.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to make sure you got your star rating in there. Yep, I do agree with you on that yet again. This was indeed the fight of the night. Solid 3.5 stars. That's the absolute best we can go on this. I mean, a very good main event indeed. I mean, everybody worked very hard. There was some great action throughout. Great near falls indeed. Kofi Kingston was just amazing, flying all over. Big E taking some bigger bumps than usual. And yeah, I mean, you didn't really expect them to have Reigns and Ambrose show any tension tonight, but I thought maybe we would get a seed planted, and it looked like maybe we did get one, like Fletcher said. And Brock's F5 on Ambrose afterward seemed kind of straightforward. And tonight was the night to create issues between them, since they really didn't do anything with Lesnar and Reigns tonight. So, yeah. But nonetheless, this was a very good main event indeed. And, one of the better main events we've seen in a while. And, no authority shenanigans. I mean, that's always a good thing. So, yeah. So, thankfully, we didn't have much of that tonight, so that's good. So yeah, 3.5 stars, fight of the night. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. So with that overall review, we'll start it off. I probably would say maybe 7.5 out of 10 at the absolute best. Maybe teetering on 8, between 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for this show tonight. I thought this was a very good edition of Monday Night Raw, with 3 very good matches in the top 3 fights of the night spot. Main event with Roman and Ambrose against the New Day. That was the fight of the night, 3.5. Second best fight by a smidge, Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler, 3.25 stars. And then rounding out the top 3 was Kalisto and Rusev, solid 3 there. And then you had those 2 great in-ring segments. The opening segment with Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, and Dean Ambrose, segment of the night. And then you had the Miz TV segment with Miz and AJ Styles, which was very good as well. And then you had a couple of other solid fights in there. And the Diva fights weren't the best, but the Diva fights were solid at the absolute best. Not overly spectacular, but both Diva fights were solid. And we did have a couple of dud enhancement fights. Big Show and Eric Rowan and Titus O'Neil and Tyler Breeze, but other than that, and I'll even say it, even the backstage stuff was very good too. I mean, there were 2 great backstage segments in particular. The one with Stephanie McMahon and Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. So, well, actually, make it 3. That was one of them. The other, of course, the segment with the champion Triple H and Brock Lesnar. That was a fantastic backstage segment as well. And even that backstage interview with Renee Young, when Renee Young interviewed Chris Jericho, which I thought was very good too. So yeah, that's another reason why I'm giving it the high marks here tonight. So couple things to announce for SmackDown. Of course, AJ Styles will be going one-on-one with The Miz, I do believe, and expect Chris Jericho to get involved for that. Yes, AJ Styles will go one-on-one with The Miz, and also on that show, we will also see Roman Reigns go one-on-one with Rusev. So those are your 2 big things to watch for SmackDown: Roman Reigns versus Rusev, and AJ Styles versus The Miz. Two potentially interesting matchups there. Can't wait to see how those turn out. Of course, in about 24 hours or so, the spoilers will come out, and we'll get the rest of what we can expect for the next edition of SmackDown, which I got to admit, ever since, SmackDown made the move to USA about a month ago, I mean, those shows have gotten so much better. The commentary has been amazing. Mauro Ranallo, I mean, Fletcher was the one who hyped him to us, and I gotta admit, Fletch, your boy's done a tremendous job. I mean, I never saw him do his work before, but hey, I'm really loving his style, man. I'm really loving Mauro Ranallo. He's done a tremendous job, and Jerry the King Lawler as a heel commentary. Well, my heart isn't really into that because of how at this stage of his career, I didn't really want to see him be a heel again, but that's starting to grow on me now. I mean, it's starting to take me back to the Attitude Era days when he was that very over heel commentator, and he may not be doing, the diva puppy shtick like he used to do back in the day, but I will admit, I mean, the SmackDown's gotten so much better. I mean, not just the commentary, but also the in-ring work as well. And I'm glad that WWE is finally, making SmackDown, a relevant show again after so many years of irrelevancy, because, they were giving us, second-rate fights and everything else. I mean, it's like they phoned it in, for goodness sakes. But ever since they moved the move to USA, they haven't phoned it in. They've made these shows worth watching, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for the next show. And before I give it to you, Fletch, I just got to be honest with you. Like I said, the ending of that last SmackDown with all that chaos, I can honestly say that was one of the best SmackDown endings I've seen in a very long time. So great that I played it over and over again. That's how fun it was for me, honestly. So that's really all there is to say about it. So keep up the good work on SmackDown, Mauro Ranallo, Jerry the King Lawler, and Byron Saxton. And I even saw a YouTube video, like a little mini podcast, and the guy on that said that Byron Saxton should not be on SmackDown, that it should be just Mauro Ranallo and Jerry the King Lawler as the heel commentator. And in a way, I kind of agree with that. That's it, because it's a 2-hour show, had two commentators, while Raw's a 3-hour show, had 3 commentators. That makes sense. So he doesn't have a problem with Saxton on Raw. He just has the problem with him on SmackDown too. So that was just how the guy felt. So with all that said, 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Reigns versus Rusev and Styles versus Miz on SmackDown coming up. So Michael Fletcher, overall thoughts. Do you agree with my rating? Do you have it higher, lower? How do you feel about tonight's show?
Oh, no. So what was your rating? 7 out of 10, Anthony?
I actually gave it between 7.5 to 8.
Oh, 7.5 to 8. I'll give it a solid 7.5. I thought this was a very good show. I didn't think it was nothing bad, to say the very least. I thought it was a very good, it was a very good looking show. How everything turned out, I had nothing bad to say the very least. I think it was definitely a great match to look forward to, and I was very impressed with everything that went down. So no, I was definitely very pleased with everything that turned out. So no, nothing bad to say. So yeah, no, 7.5 is my rating. So I guess it's time for our minutes. So Floyd, do you want me to lead off, or are you gonna go?
Are you ready to lead off if you want?
Yeah, I'm ready to lead off.
Okay. Yeah, so our new segment now, Michael Fletcher with his Mikey Mindset, covering the independent scene, ROH, RWA, Lucha Underground, and all that. So, and then after Fletcher's done, then I'll share my TNA Impact, and I'll give you, some thoughts from last week, as well as, a non-spoiler match and segment listing for tonight's upcoming show. So, Michael Fletcher, let's go inside Mikey's Mindset. What's going on the independent scene?
All right. Well, first off, let's get right into it. We jump off with Ring of Honor. This week, we had the Ring of Honor television champion Roderick Strong. He went up against Masada, who is the king of the death match from Japan, and he successfully defended the title. Then he was interrupted by Bobby Fish, one member of Red Dragon, and Bobby Fish basically started calling out Roderick Strong. Says that you can't beat me, you can't do everything about it, you kind of got lucky, and this and that. And Roderick Strong actually went very heel, grabbed his belt, and pretty much ran home. Basically left the arena, let Bobby Fish troll him a little bit, which was a little bit shocking to say the very least, but it is what it is. So the next thing we had was the top prospect opening round tournament match. It was Punisher Martinez versus Kobe Carino. It pretty much turned out to be an easy victory for Punisher Martinez. He moves on to the next round of the tournament. And then BJ Whitmer basically tells Kobe to tell his old man to take the mask off, because he believes that BJ Whitmer believes that Mr. Wrestling 3, who's been doing a lot of commentary for Ring of Honor lately, is actually not Mr. Wrestling 3 and is actually Steve Corino or King Corino, one of the biggest guys in Ring of Honor. Now, it was proven that no, it's not. And Mr. Wrestling 3 basically leaves ringside, and basically that is that. So the main event was Red Dragon, and they went up against Ring of Honor World Champion Jay Lethal, along with Truth Martini and the ever stunning, beautiful baby girl Taylor Hendricks. Wow. And of course his partner was Adam Cole, who was a former member of the Kingdom, and yes, the same Kingdom of now TNA stars Mike Bennett and Maria Canales. So with that said, Red Dragon does get the victory, and now on the next show, now I'm going to do spoiler free as well. We do have is Alex Shelley and Frankie Kazarian. Alex Shelley, he's going to go one-on-one with Frankie Kazarian. And yeah, this is going to be a very interesting match, to say the very least. And then we got Dalton Castle with the boys. He's going up against Joey Durango, and or I guess Jay Diesel is his name. And he'll be with Truth Martini. Then on top of that, we also have a top prospect fight, as it's going to be Action Ortiz. He's going up against Leon St. Giovanni. That's a great match, one-on-one. And then we have a Ring of Honor World Tag Team title fight coming up, the All Night Express. Red Titus and Kenny King, they go up against the War Machine of Hanson and Rowe, title on the line on the next episode of that's going to be going down this Saturday night on Ring of Honor TV. Here's how you can see it, guys. After Saturday Night Live at, I believe it's 1 a.m. in the morning, 1:05 a.m. in the morning on WJAR Channel 10. If you don't see it then you can see it again on WJAR Channel 10 at midnight on Sunday, on early Monday morning, Sunday going into Monday morning, and that's at midnight. Or you can watch it on its regular night, Wednesday nights on Comet TV. Now check your local listings for the date and time in the area that you live in. I know for me, I have Cox Communication, that's channel 813, and it's at 9 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday night, and they actually do a replay of it. So that's for you guys there. That is for Ring of Honor. Now, Lucha Underground. Yes, it's back for season number 2, and my goodness, what a way to jump off season 2. Now, last season, and if you remember, Dario Cuello, who is the big boss, the big guy who ran the temple, he left. He was deserted after basically an interesting situation had broken out. Dario Cuello was gone. Nobody knew where he went, and the whole 9 yards. What happened next is Katrina. That's right. The beautiful vixen herself, Katrina, who is the manager of Mil Muertes and the Disciples of Death. She now runs Lucha Underground. She has now gotten the power of the temple, and she runs it. So what's next? So the first thing was Phoenix. He goes in and he was like, you know what? I want to cash in the Gift of God Championship. Now, everybody wants to know about what's this Gift of God. The Gift of God Championship is medallions, Mexican medallions that creates a championship belt. There's 7 medallions. And when you have that, it's practically your ticket. It's virtually the money in the bank. You have possession of that belt, the Gift of God Championship. You can open challenge the Lucha Underground champion at any time, any place, anywhere. Basically, you have to forfeit the belt for one opportunity at that championship. Well, Phoenix was going to try to do it, but he had to deal with King Cuerno. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a new Gift of God champion because King Cuerno is now the champion. Phoenix loses the match and thus drops the belt in a 4-star classic fight. After that, we actually had something even bigger because what happened next is the former Trios champion, El Elenco, Eva Lees, and the Son of Havoc all show up. Katrina basically is like, okay. So she's like, Eva Lees and Katrina has a little bit of a rivalry. They don't like each other. And they actually added that, hey, I want to have a fight. I want to put the title, we want your Disciples of Death, put the titles on the line right here, right now, tonight. She's like, I got one thing better. How about that the winner of the fight becomes the #1 contender, and right there in the temple that night, you fight Mil Muertes for the title. Whoa. So, we had Ivelisse and Angelico and the Son of Havoc in a triple threat match. Winner fights Mil Muertes for the title, the winner of the bout, and the #1 contender, Ivelisse. She wins it in 6 minutes and 7 seconds. And let me tell you, this was a solid 3-star fight. And yes, it did lead to the main event. Mil Muertes puts the Lucha Underground title on the line against Ivelisse, the winner of the bout, and still Lucha Underground champion Mil Muertes, the man of 1,000 deaths, successfully defends the title. And what really became interesting was it looked like at the end of it, Mil Muertes told Katrina, do what you gotta do. And what she normally does, it's called the lick of death. It is the most erotic, most like I don't know even how to describe it. I mean, it's definitely not PG. I'm telling you that, folks. But before she did it, she was like, you know what? No, Muertes, kill her, finish her off. The next thing that happened is Pentagon Jr. showed up. He puts Mil Muertes in an arm triangle and snaps the arm. He breaks the arm of the reigning defending Lucha Underground champion in an oh crap moment. What happens next? We will not know, but I will say this. This is how you start Lucha Underground Season 2. And I will tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see some great professional wrestling, and yes, better than maybe Ring of Honor, better than anything that you've seen recently, I will tell you this, man. This show, for me, I mean, I'm going to tell you this. This was so good, and I really love this show. I'm going to give this, I have to give this a 9 out of 10. That's how epic this show was. This was literally a 9 out of 10. I mean, this, if it wasn't for maybe the 2 fights going a little longer, I think this would have been an easy 10 out of 10. But 9 out of 10 is my rating for Lucha Underground for the for the ROH show, I'm going to give it about an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a very good show, no doubt about it. So great shows all the way around. Unfortunately, I got nothing new on the way of the RWA. Hopefully that will change in the next couple of weeks because there is a big show coming up February 13th at the Chop Shop in Providence, Rhode Island. It'll be Elite Status. Tickets are on sale right now. Go to rwawrestling.net for more ticket information. And plus, as always, once I start hearing matches for the event, I will be posting it and keep a close eye in the next couple of weeks because I will have a preview video for Elite Status on Braves Fan 95. So with that said, that is the Mikey's Mindset. Anthony Florio, what went down in the world of total nonstop action wrestling?
Well, I just got a message from Michael Bullock. Michael Bullock obviously had a long day, so he fell asleep there. So yeah, which is obvious because he has very long days now because he works very early in the morning and among other things, and he also has his Special Olympics basketball practices on Monday nights, so that definitely contributes. So Michael Bullock will not be joining us obviously here tonight, but he will be ready. He will be ready for Friday night. I just wanted to pass that along to you. Now, as far as TNA is concerned, last week, the big story last week, obviously, Feast or Fired. They had the Feast or Fired match. And, 4 cases. One case, containing a World Heavyweight title shot. Another had a King of the Mountain title shot. A third had a tag team title shot. And one case, the dreaded pink slip, which means you're fired. So, cut to the chase. The 4 men who got the cases in no particular order: Drew Galloway, Eli Drake, the Cowboy James Storm, and Grado. Those were the 4 who drew the cases. And I'll say it like this: Cowboy James Storm drew the tag team title shot case. So that means him and Bobby Roode, Beer Money, at some point can cash in that briefcase for a future World Tag Team title shot. Michael Fletcher, are you already having visions of a Beer Money versus Wolves tag team title fight? Can you imagine what that's going to be like? Oh my goodness.
I think that's going to be very interesting to see, the very least. And let me tell you, Beer Money, you want to talk about some of the greatest. You're talking about TNA's past versus TNA's future. This is going to be that could be a fight of the night anywhere in the world.
Amen to that. And some spoilers have come out that that match has already gone down, but I'm not going to give anything away. You'll have to wait until that match airs. So, but I heard about it, and oh boy, that's all I can say. So maybe you have too, Fletch, but let's not give anything away. So James Storm got the tag team title briefcase, so him and Bobby Roode will challenge for the tag team titles. Eli Drake, he drew the King of the Mountain title briefcase, so he can cash that in for a future shot at the King of the Mountain championship. Of course, that title currently held, of course, by the world-class maniac Eric Young. So that should be an interesting situation there. So it came down to Drew Galloway and Grado. One had the World Heavyweight title shot. The other had the dreaded pink slip fired briefcase. And when all was said and done, Drew Galloway, Mr. Lucky, because Drew Galloway pulled the briefcase with the World Heavyweight title shot. Of course, that title currently held by Big Money Matt Hardy. And which means Drew Galloway in the near future can cash in that briefcase for a future World Heavyweight title match. So that obviously means one thing: the dreaded pink slip fired briefcase was drawn by Grado. Grado is gone. Now, I know Michael Fletcher was not too thrilled about that, because I know he was a big fan of Grado and his character. Well, there are some others that are actually fine with it, and I'll admit I am on that, on that. I'm kind of glad because I didn't really connect. I wasn't really feeling that character, to be honest with you. It kind of reminded me of Santino Marella, those hijinks that he used to, those campy comedy hijinks back in the day. Maybe even Eric Young back when he was the campy comedy goofball. But yeah, nothing personal. That's just how I feel. So Grado fired. He's gone. Who knows what's happening with him next? So Drew Galloway, World Heavyweight title briefcase. Eli Drake, King of the Mountain title. And James Storm with the tag team title for Beer Money. So interesting things coming out of that. And there was supposed to be a world title match with Matt and Jeff Hardy. That never got off the ground because a lot of chaos went down. Eric Young and Bram attacked Jeff Hardy. Matt Hardy did nothing. And Jeff Hardy, got taken out and he got carried out on a stretcher. So those were really the big highlights from last week. Those were the big stories from last week's show. Of course, for this week's show, I do have the non-spoiler listing here. So in no particular, now I don't know if this is going to be the order it airs, but here you go. It's going to start with a match. Bobby Lashley, the Destroyer, will go one-on-one with Aiden O'Shea. So Lashley versus Aiden O'Shea. And then we're going to have an in-ring segment with the World Heavyweight Champion Matt Hardy, along with his wife Rebby Sky and Tyrus. He'll cut a promo, and then it'll get interrupted by Eric Young and Bram, and also get interrupted by Kurt Angle, and then all hell breaks loose in this segment, really. And then Beer Money comes out, and then the Wolves come out, Abyss and Crazy Steve, and it was announced that Bram, Eric Young, Crazy Steve, and Abyss will go up against the Wolves and Beer Money. And Michael Fletcher are going to like this. An 8-man tag team hardcore war. I know Fletcher's going to love that. So you might want to tune in to Pop TV tonight, my man. You might want to check that out because I know how much you love those hardcore wars. Tigre Uno is going to defend the TNA X Division Championship against, you mentioned him earlier, Fletch, Shane Helms, the Hurricane. He's going to go up against, well, actually, it's supposed to be Tigre Uno against Shane Helms, but, well, you're going to want to tune in to see what happens with that. There's definitely some chicanery that goes down with that. And then we had a match, one-on-one. Tyrus will go up against Drew Galloway. And then it's going to lead to something with and then there's going to be a little crazy, and then there's going to be some chaos after that. So keep an eye out on that. Let's just say the Miracle is going to get involved after the match. So keep an eye out for that. Hardcore, and then we have the Hardcore War, the 8-man Hardcore War. Crazy Steve, Abyss, Bram, and Eric Young against Beer Money and the Wolves. And then we're going to have a very interesting segment here. Maria Kanellis is going to cut a promo. And let's just say she's going to throw her hat into the Knockouts division. And, well, let's just say it's going to lead to an interesting interaction between her and the current Knockouts champion, Gail Kim. I'm reading this now, and I cannot wait to see how this goes down. And then in the main event, World Heavyweight Champion Matt Hardy, Big Money Matt, goes up against Kurt Angle. And I don't know if the title's on the line or not, but Matt Hardy and Kurt Angle, title or not, will be the main event of this show. And I'm guessing this is going to be the fight of the night from what I'm reading. But then again, that Hardcore War, from what I'm reading, looked pretty good as well. So that's your non-spoiler match listing here. I mean, looks like a great show. Bobby Lashley versus Aiden O'Shea, Matt Hardy promo with all hell breaking loose. Tigre Uno with the X Division title. Keep an eye out for that. Tyrus and Drew Galloway, Hardcore War, 8-man. An in-ring segment with Maria Kanellis and Gail Kim. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that. And then Matt Hardy versus Kurt Angle in the main event. Not sure if it's for the title or not, but whether the title's on the line or not, that's going to be one hell of a main event. So that's it for that. So tune in tonight. 9 p.m. Pop TV. If you can't tune in or anything else, or if you miss it, that don't worry, there is an encore. It'll be at midnight. So 9 p.m. for the first run airing, or midnight for the encore if you missed it or you just want to see it again. Pop TV, formerly the TV Guide Network. Check your local listings for the time and channel in your area. So that'll do it for this. So of course, now it's time for our real quick shout outs, and Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher, we'll start it off with you, and then I'll set the table for future content, and a very big future content, if you know what I mean. So,
without a doubt. First off, I want to say thank you to the great fans out there who's been listening to the Wrestling Forum tonight. We hope that you guys enjoyed the show as always. You guys are the best fans in the world. Special shout out to all the super fans out there. You guys already know who you guys are. Special shout out to my friends in the junior high and high school days. You guys know who you guys are. To the 2184 crew, love you guys. You guys are always awesome. And then, as always, there's nothing more to say. So until then, I will see you Friday night. And I will be here Friday night for our special edition of the Strictly Sports. So with that said, I'm Mike Fletcher. You know the routine. Hug the hand pounds. I'm out. Good night. Flair, take it home.
All right, we'll do, Fletch. Of course, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make the Wrestling Forum as ridiculous, along with Strictly Sports, as ridiculously over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Of course, all of our special shout out to all of our super fans, from Dee Dee Woodson and Kevin Woodson and the entire Woodson family, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell, whose horror film, his latest short horror film, Twisted, rave reviews. I hope you all were able to check it out as we continue to support his filmmaking aspirations. So well done, sir, and we hope to have you on a future show. And of course, the rest of our crew, Megan Silva and Kaiser Butler, along with the first ladies of our shows, and of course the rest of our crew, our boys, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Braderson, and Rob Parsons. And of course, the phenom Michael Bullock, who couldn't join us tonight because he called in the night early. He had a long day, like I said, with his early morning job and his Special Olympics basketball practice later in the day. And yeah, it's enough for a long day. So, but he will be with us. He has assured me that he'll be back with us on Friday night, which I'll get into in a moment. And of course, last but certainly not least, the man, the myth, the inspiration behind all of this, the brainchild, our Imperial Grand Poobah himself, the hardcore pipe bomb, Derek Ferreira. I mean, we miss him. We miss him to death here. These shows have not been the same without him. I mean, hey, I'm more than happy to help out. I mean, I love hosting. I've loved hosting these shows all this time, and Fletcher as well. But one of these days, we really hope to have Derek back with us because, like I said, these shows have really not been the same without him. So hardcore pipe bomb, we continue. We're thinking about you, and we hope you'll be on again soon and keep kicking some with the sports blog. I mean, because those sports blogs are a must read every single day, whether it's professional wrestling or football or baseball, basketball, hockey, college, what have you. I mean, those are all must reads every day. So check out that sports blog when you get a chance. I mean, they're all so much fun to read. So, all right. I'll save the rest of my shout outs for Friday night. And of course, here we go. Of course, the next time we'll see you will be Friday night at 10:30 for an all new edition of Strictly Sports. And this edition of Strictly Sports is a very special one. It's our biggest show of this young year. Why? Because it's all about all about Super Bowl 50. We're going to break down every position. We're going to dissect every nook and cranny that there is possible to get you fans ready and raring to go for the biggest football game in Western civilization, Super Bowl 50, with the National Football Conference champion Carolina Panthers going up against the American Football Conference champion Denver Broncos at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara outside of San Francisco. WrestleMania was there last year. It was off the hook. Hopefully this Super Bowl will be just as good as Mania, if not better. I mean, we'll see how that goes. Although my early feeling is not really all that good, but you never know. You never know. Because remember, it was a year ago today, 1 year ago today, that we witnessed that Super Bowl 49 went down, and we'll never forget it with the Patriots and the Seahawks. I mean, a 5-star classic, Shakespearean drama all around, and that's really all there is to say about it. And a year ago tonight, I mean, we all had, I know Fletch didn't really have special plans, but Bullock and I, we did. We had separate gatherings, and yeah, I'll certainly never forget. I was at my father's house, and I was there with him along with some select members of our church family, and Malcolm Butler. When Malcolm Butler made that interception, that's all there is. That's all you need to know right there. So, can't believe it's already been a year, man. Unbelievable. But it is that's it. So that's Friday night, all about Super Bowl 50. Fletch, I'm glad you'll be here for that, because that show really would not have been the same without you. But I'm glad you're going to be there, because I'm really need you to do that Phil Simms thing I like one more time. So, and I know you'll be ready. So, and Michael Bullock will be here too. So the band will be here Friday night for that big show when we preview Super Bowl 50. Every nook and cranny, we're getting into it. You better believe it. And then, of course, next Monday Night Wrestling Forum, Monday Night Raw, we'll get into that as always. So that's it. So that'll do it for this edition of the Wrestling Forum. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. So until Friday night for our huge Super Bowl 50 preview edition of Strictly Sports. And remember, no power rankings, all about Super Bowl 50. So until then, it's Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio 4, the Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock and the Hardcore Pipe Bomb Derek Ferreira, saying, the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And until then, we do want to acknowledge one more time before we leave you here tonight. If you didn't join us at the top of the show, the top story, obviously, if you all didn't hear, the great Bret the Hitman Hart announced today that he had been diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I think this is an appropriate way to leave you folks here tonight. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for this wonderful image to load, as I really want to screen share this with you as we leave you here tonight. So just bear with me for a moment. But okay. I think I should smaller that. There you go. There it is. All right, perfect. So that's it. So until Friday night, there you go. I think that says it all right there. Fight, Bret, fight. Best there is, best there was, the best there ever damn will be. And one of the many reasons why I love technical, scientific wrestling right there. That's one of the men who did it right there. Do you want to say something, Flex? Oh, all right. I thought that you probably wanted to. Oh, okay. Because you unmuted your mic. That's why. All right. So that photo says it all right there. Fight, Bret, fight. We're all thinking of you and wish him a speedy recovery. And I do mean speedy. So that's on behalf of all of us here at the Wrestling Forum. So until Friday night for our Super Bowl 50 edition of Strictly Sports, you've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube.com. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And for now, Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio for the Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher. So long.